Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Early Career Academic. On this channel, I explore how I use the Passion Planner to set personal and professional goals. In this video, I'm going to give you an update on how my academic writing sprint is going, and then I'm going to wrap up the video with my process for the point of the research that I'm at. So I think the first part of this video is for those of you who follow me specifically for the Passion Planner stuff. The second part of the video will maybe be more interesting to those of you who do research or project-based kind of work, especially if it involves like research process. So it's going to be a relatively short video, but I just wanted to give you a quick update and explain my process to you, and then get going with my academic writing for the day. Before I move on, I am a Passion Planner ambassador. There is an affiliate link for any Passion Planner products in the description of this video and a discount code that you can use to get an extra 10% off of any Passion Planner products. And this is important, especially the day this video goes up, because there is a launch. Passion Planner is launching some new academic dated calendar or planners. So it's dated for an academic year, and they're changing the academic year. They were starting in August, but now they start in July, which I think is actually quite clever because a lot of, academics need to have their stuff figured out before August for sure. So the date is changing on that. There's some new planners. There's also, for those of you who don't really care about academic planners, there's new dailies coming out and 2 new sticker books. I'm really excited about it. So if you use my link or my code on launch day, I'm really grateful. Thank you for using the link and or the code, and also thanks for just being here. Okay, so let's do a little update on where we are at. So I'm going to flip to the back pages here, and I do have a whole playlist of back pages videos. It's not the right place here, but this is, I just wanted to kind of come here to show you where we're at. So these are my academic writing pages. This is the kind of someday ideas that I have, and then this is the project I'm currently working on. As you can see, I did check off some of these boxes here. I'm technically still on, I'm on the read and annotate cards here, right now, and I want to do this map, but I'm doing this first. So it's going pretty well. I need to get all of the sources that I've collected read and annotated as fast as humanly possible. So that's what I'm currently working on. And then that way I can write the literature review and then move on with the rest of the writing that I have to do. So this is for the introduction to the edited collection, and then this is for my own contribution to the collection. So I'm not doing work on this at the moment, but I need to start picking up the pace if I'm going to meet any of my deadlines. And the way I know that is by using my Gantt chart here. So this is the Gantt chart that I use, which basically these are the projects that I'm working on or that I could be working on in this year. This is the first part of the year, and this is the second, well, this is up to September essentially, or up to October 1st. And I basically mark out when I'm working on what. So I just, for example, last week turned the proofs in for an article that got published yesterday. I was really excited. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted a link to the article. Really nice to kick off a sprint with the results of a different sprint. It makes you just very motivated. So I was happy about that. But as you can see, this is the project that I'm most working on here. And I'd like to get it mostly wrapped up by the end of the semester because I need to start working on this project over the summer. So I know this is going to be kind of an intense project that needs most of my focus. So I need to get my ass in gear essentially, and get this stuff ready to go. And that's, this is kind of how I go about it. I'm also going to drop this project for now. I just don't have time. And I put it on here because I'm supposed to check in with an editor about it, but this year it's just not happening, and that's okay. That's okay. This is just all part of the process. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was my Year in Pixels update. This is how I am tracking the days that I do academic writing, research or writing, and then no academic writing. And as you can see, it's been March especially was a slow going month. That was just a crazy month between spring break and the trip to Arizona and everything. I'm amazed I got any research and writing days. I'm also I'm interested to know where these clusters are coming from, I would have to look back at my planner to see why do I have these like clusters? You know, like what's going on there? But obviously some of these are clumps of weekends and I don't work on weekends typically. So like that's part of it, but I'm just interested to know exactly like why there are like random apparent seemingly random clumps. But anyway, so you can see already in the month of April, I'm doing better than I do in some months at the beginning. But I'm hoping to like have more days of research and writing than not in the month of April because I'm doing the sprint. So that's sort of like a little update on how I'm tracking the academic writing in my planner. And the only other way that I like that it shows up in here is I have now been giving myself little like writing stickers whenever I do some academic writing. It's just a fun little ritual that I have. And this week, the sticker that I plan on putting when I complete the academic writing for the day is from the Honeybee Shop. It's this cute little pencils. And I think because I'm going with like a green, like salmon color combo, I might use the greens and the salmons, or like this pink color here. So that's probably what I'll use for that. So that is how I use the Passion Planner to do academic writing work. And now I just want to talk briefly about the process that I am currently undergoing to get the research on track that I need. Now, I started out with a basic search for the topic that I'm researching, and I'm using our library systems. And then I used like those core sources to do some citation chasing backward and forward to find additional sources. This is a new area of research for me, so I'm definitely like poking around and seeing what may or may not be relevant to me. But I do know that these core sources, which I found, will be relevant to a certain extent. And what I do once I have read a source, when I'm reading it, like, and this is all PDFs, obviously, I I highlight like significant sentences as I go using the highlight tool. And then I come back and I take a blank index card and jot down just the most important things from that article that have anything to do with my project. This is very different than the way I did research when I was a graduate student. What I did back then is I took copious notes, digital notes, on every article that I read. I created like robust annotated bibliographies, essentially. I don't do that anymore. There's a couple of reasons why, and I actually talked this over with a PhD student in my program the other day, because this is probably the number one thing, maybe the number two thing I would have changed about my graduate experience. First, because as you like evolve as a scholar, you tend to rely less and less on what other people say. You still have to have a review of research, right? You still have to acknowledge the research that came before your research, but chances are what you describe from these sources shrinks. That's just pretty natural because you become more comfortable writing about your own research without relying as much on other voices. And you really don't need that many notes. You just don't. Like if you highlight as you read, you captured like every like line you were thinking about. We have the ability nowadays to word search a document for a specific quote that was like that we were thinking of. So we don't need to take these like copious notes with all these quotes and everything anymore. Whereas, you know, when I was in undergrad, you definitely had to do that. And this is, chances are, when I cite this source in my literature review, it's going to be like this brief, you know, or briefer even more brief than what I have here. And really, this is just helping me like understand what is the contribution that this source is making to my topic. And I do that for all of these. And you can see some of them, you know, I wrote a note, not super helpful. Not that it wasn't a good source, it just wasn't like as aligned with my project as I thought it was based on the title when I first found it. This one, clearly I have more to say about that. This one, less to say about it. This one, more to say about it, and so on and so forth. And what I do is at the top, I put the year it was published, the author, the first author, and a little bit of the title so that I can tell this apart from other things with the same date, with the same author. And that way, when I go to write my paper and write my literature review, I can organize these sources by when they were published, or I could group them in any way I wish. I can kind of flip through and like be like, oh wait, wasn't there someone who did this or that? And then I can put them all in the thing that I'm producing, in this case, a literature review. And then when I'm done, I just kind of clip them together and stick them in a folder where I keep kind of this, just in case I need to refer back to it at some point in the publishing process. But I'm not really anxious about keeping notes like this anymore, because like everything I do now is very project focused. And if I were ever to use these sources again, even if I checked these cards, I would probably have to go through this process again, because chances are using this for a different thing, right? And I think that's important to understand for academic writing is, you know, highlight the sentences as you go, but don't feel the need to like take too many notes, because it slows down the research process and sometimes stall out your research so severely that you never get anything done. And then when you go to write, like you see your notes and you're like, oh my God. And now you have to distill all this down to the most important ideas or what have you. And that's why I like this index card system. I really recommend it for those of you who might be stalling out on the research part of your projects, to kind of kick it into gear. And also it's nice to have this like as paper in the world. You have your computer and you're writing your paper, your literature review, and you can kind of like just shuffle these around and be like, oh yeah, I want to include that. And it's just nice as you don't have to flip between screens, you know, like all of this. Like, so this is what I recommend as a part of a research process. It's definitely more steps involved, but this is the one that I'm on right now. So I wanted to share that with you. I also just wanted to go ahead and say, I do have a video up on my channel. I'll try to remember to include it in the description, where I go through how I set up my digital file structure for research. I can't even tell you all how long it took me to figure out a good digital file system, but once I did, I have not looked back. It is so much better than what I had going on before. So anyway, I'll try to link to that video in case you're interested. Just, you know, like trying to be as helpful as possible, because I had to learn a lot of these lessons the hard way by myself. And I think if, you know, it's working, whatever works for you, right? But yeah, it's, I think, useful to share what's working for me in case it's helpful to somebody who's doing this similar kind of work. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plow through as many sources as I can before my baby wakes up, try to get some more cards in the stack here, and give myself a little sticker reward. If I think about it, or if I have time, I'll check back in with you at the end of this video. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Checking back in, had a really successful session. Baby is awake now, so I gotta go grab her. But I just wanted to quickly say that I got a couple more cards in my stack, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my little sticker ritual here. Give myself a little credit for completing my writing task. And I just want to say, I hope you're having a good week. Check back in here. Next week, I hope to have another update on how the academic writing project is going. My goal for this week is to plow through at least a good chunk of sources that I have, to gather some cards here together so that I can start drafting that literature review next week if possible. Again, thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments if you have a research process, if it differs from mine, if you have any suggestions for how to like make this go a little quicker. I would love to hear from you. So thanks for watching. See you back here soon. Bye.